This is Skull Babylon, and you're about to listen to a special community call-in spectacular edition of Paradigm Shift Radio, with our good friend Philosophical on board as co-host. On this episode, we had a huge variety of people call into the show and covered a multitude of consciousness-expanding discussion topics ranging from transmutating energy, diet, crop circles, some very inspirational stories, and more. This show is a chance for us to co-create together as a means to help document our ongoing story in this mysterious universe. So if you enjoy what you hear, then be sure to share the content with some friends and check back in for future episodes. Check out more of the ongoing conscious media through the main website, get inspired, get involved, and enjoy the show.
Never underestimate the power of a small group of weird, awesome, dedicated, shifty people who want to change the world, because indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. This is Skull Babylon, and you're tuned in for another exciting, educational, inspirational, community-driven episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. Big shout out once again to everybody who's joining us live in the live chat here through Blog Talk on a wonderful psychedelic Sunday. And of course, tonight is going to be a really cool, exciting episode. This is a community calling collaboration spectacular episode, something along the lines is what we're calling it. But nevertheless, this is going to be a chance for anybody calling in to be able to connect with us live on air and to be able to practice sharing their voice, to be able to use this radio show as a platform to get your message out to a lot of people all across the globe. A lot of people who are tuned into the show right now and in the future who are interested about learning more about this mysterious universe around us, and a lot of people who are doing some really exciting, awesome things. And one of those people is going to be our good friend Philosophical, who's on our show just a couple weeks ago, and he's going to be joining us as our co-host tonight, and we're going to be going over a little bit of how things are going to be flowing tonight. But before we do that, I just want to go over a little bit of community news. Of course, ParadigmShiftCentral.com is the main website that you want to check out if you have not yet. Feel free to browse that while you are listening to the show. Long story short, Paradigm Shift is more than just a radio show. It is a project that is all about the creation of physical communities. There are a bunch of Paradigm Shift communities all across the globe, so check the map through the main website, see if there's one in your area, and if not, then put forth those thoughts and the intentions towards creating one where you are. And that's an amazing way to be able to connect with people where you are, and it's a super simple thing to do, because a Paradigm Shift community is about having open-minded discussion and meditation circles, which is the very base of it, and then from there you connect with people, you make friends, you create like bonds, you bring forth new ideas, you create the support network, and you can turn it into whatever really you want. You really, at that point, like, let's start growing gardens, let's start helping out people who we can, let's start creating new forms of education and just going out there and doing all sorts of weird, awesome stuff, right? So, of course, check out the main website. And, of course, before we get started, I just got to mention to some people, those of you who tuned in last week, you know that we got this really cool thing going on where we are getting shift buttons out to people all across the world. And how we're doing that is that for people who are tuned in live tonight, you can go to the facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio website on Facebook and send a message there saying that you would like to get in the draw for the free shift buttons. And then at the end of the show, we will be drawing that. And I'll remind you at the top of the hour and later on in the show. But before we do that raffle, I just got to mention that we do have the funding campaign up at GoFundMe.com/Paradigm Shift Central, and apologies for those of you in the live chat. I actually sent the wrong link there. Let me just resend that. So GoFundMe.com/Paradigm Shift Central is the fund that we are using to raise buttons. And right now, I'll be giving away one raffle draw, one batch of free buttons, but if we can get a couple more donations by the end of the show, then we could be giving out as much as 2 or 3 raffle draws for the buttons. And of course, the buttons are tools that we can use. A lot of people say, well, I don't know anybody in my area. I have no one to talk to. These buttons are tools that you can use to help connect with people where you are, because it's so easy to start a conversation. You walk up to someone and be like, here's a gift, have a button, check out this awesome consciousness shifting symbolic imagery on it, spark a conversation, and the buttons have the website that links them back into this project, links them into the radio show, and all sorts of awesome stuff. But I don't want to spend too much time spamming you guys with that, but I will be keeping an eye on the GoFundMe page. So again, if we get a couple donations by the end of the episode, we'll be giving out extra free batches of shift buttons. In terms of other community news, just got to remind you guys to check out all of the awesome inspirational video content going through facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Central. Of course, you can find it through the main website through the video inspiration station at paradigmshiftcentral.com/is. But if you go through Paradigm Shift Central on Facebook, that is where you're going to see the post going up for the very first time. And these are video content that's being created by people in our community. This is us being able to use this project as a platform for anybody who is sharing videos to be able to reach a global audience, and there's a lot of awesome cool stuff going on there, so check it out, check out the support, check it out and support it. And if you want to be involved, if you have videos that you want to submit, even if they aren't new videos, that's fine. If you've made videos from a while back and you want to resubmit them, that is totally what that is about. Send us a message through the Facebook page and we'll get you synced up with that. Last thing on the agenda that I do have to mention, those of you who have not heard, there is a movie that has been floating around called Journey to Lucidity, The Planted Seed. That movie is now on special edition DVD, and those of you who purchase the DVD are supporting the sequel and also receiving access to the sequel are receiving early access, to be more specific, to the sequel, and you can order a copy of that through paradigmshiftcentral.com/JTL, and that is about $20 plus shipping. And again, that is like a really cool way to be able to help support me in the work that I'm doing. And if you haven't checked out the full movie, it is still online, but there's a lot of awesome stuff on the DVD, including an advanced lucid dreaming workshop, a panel discussion, director's commentary, bonus scenes, some Easter eggs are actually in there, so those of you big fan of Easter eggs, check those out. But again, we're going to move on to what this episode is really all about, and that is about hearing from you, the people in the community. So without further ado, we got a lot of people lined up in the queue as it is, and in terms of how this is going to work, we're going to be bringing people on one at a time. In past episodes, normally we would bring on maybe 3, 4, 5 people on at a time. With this one, we're going to have me and Phil on as co-hosts, and then we're going to bring on one caller at a time, talk for a little bit, and then we'll bring on another caller and just kind of sync through and get through as many awesome people as we can tonight on the show. So I'm going to bring Phil onto the show, and of course, Philosophical, you can check out his website at Phil, as in the name Phil, -osophical.com, and I'll post a link to that in the live chat. One final reminder, if you listen to the show on Blog Talk, you are only getting half of the experience. Check this out again when it goes up on YouTube, and of course, please feel free to share the episodes on YouTube, and you can find the full archive of the Paradigm Shift episodes from the past at paradigmshiftcentral.com/PSR, and those include the YouTube and the MP3 links. So that's about everything, and let's get on with what this is all about. So Phil, if you're ready, we're going to bring you back on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Yo, hello.
Hey, everyone.
Philosophical. Right on, man. Do you got your mustache on?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still there. It helps me think and
cool.
philosophize better, you know.
Man, I had some firsthand experience today with a mustache. Some people may know, just a little quick story about what I get up to on the side. I actually play characters like superheroes and stuff for kids' birthday parties. And today I was actually Super Mario, which was the first time I had done that character. And there's a small story out of that, and I'll share it a little bit later on perhaps. But Mario in itself, some very esoteric symbolism going on there, fighting humanoid, reptilian, lizard kings, going through portals, eating mushrooms, all sorts of nifty stuff in that video game, let me tell you. So, anyways, Phil, how are you, man? Are you you're on the West Coast still? Is that?
Yes, I'm here in Ojai, California, just enjoying life. Just watched the sunset, and really excited to be here on the show.
Cool, man, cool. And earlier in the week, you posted up a video through the Inspiration Station, through the Paradigm Shift Central Facebook page, and it was relating to 11 keys to helping create community where people are. And I gotta say, man, like I checked that video out, and that video is almost like 2 or 3 years old at this point, but you've been involved in a lot of dedicated community work for quite some time, and I really respect you for doing that, and it really just helps. It's really cool to have you on the show, because I know that you have your heart into this whole community, into this whole shifting of the paradigms thing, and you got a lot of experience with that. And later in the show, for the people listening to this, of course you can go check out Phil's video through the Facebook page, but stay tuned, because we're going to be talking about some of those keys, some of those 11 keys for how you can really accelerate creating community where you are. So a little bit of a hook there to get people tuned in for later who who want to be able to make those shifts in their physical community where they are. But yeah, man, just kudos for you for all that you're doing. Is there anything new that you just want to share? Any sort of new like community stuff, awesome stuff that you got going on where you are?
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you for that, brother. Because yeah, it's been a labor of love over the past 3 or 4 years, and yeah, now I'm in Ojai, California, and to some degree, I'm missing Peaceburg, my home, where I was doing most of the community building. But yeah, I'm now realizing, as you've realized, and all of you listening, that the internet is a great way to build community also. And so I'm working on some really cool projects. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a free Google Hangout, which we'll mention later in the show. And
Definitely.
I'm also going to launch a month-long program called Conscious Creative Expression, which is all about expanding our own creative potential, whether it's learning how to be more confident or make a living off your own creativity, or whether it's just reaching a larger audience. I think that through the internet, we can all empower each other to do those types of things.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Cool, man. Well, let's keep things moving along here, and like you said, we'll remind people about the free video chat that you got going on tomorrow, because I think that's a great way for people who are interested in a show like this to be able to connect with more awesome people. And just want to remind people, for everybody in the live chat, anytime throughout the show, feel free to post a link for your Facebook profile or a website that you're involved with as an invitation for people listening to the show to be able to connect with you. Right now, there are 47 people in the live chat, so that's a lot of people who are interested in all this paradigm shifty business, and there's a lot of potential there for people to connect and continue the conversations beyond where this episode concludes. So just reminding people to do that, and of course, a bonus reminder, throughout the week, the live chat that we do during the show is awesome, but throughout the week, at any point, go to ParadigmShiftCentral.com and you can use the live chat that is up 24/7 through the main website. So that is an incredibly useful tool, and again, just another great way for us to continue to connect beyond this immediate show that we do once a week here. And reminder, I'll just put this invite out now. We're going to be doing an after party hangout after this episode, but we're going to be needing somebody who can host it through the Google Hangout, who can record it live. So I know some of you who I'm talking to are familiar with that, and if you can just message me privately as to whether or not you might be able to do that, that would help a lot. But let's keep things moving along here. And in terms of how I think this will work best is for the people calling into the show, have an idea of what it is that you want to talk about before you actually get onto the air, just so that we can keep things moving along. And let's try and keep it limited. So, I mean, try and say, there's sort of that idea, like less words, more meaning, trying to keep that in mind. But, I mean, not trying to rush anyone. Again, this is all just practice, but we'll try to not put a limit on it, but put like a little bit of a framework to say no more than like 6 or 7, 8, maybe 9 minutes per caller, and this will just create more opportunity for more callers to be able to get in on the air. So I think that sounds pretty good. And as it is right now, we do have some people live and ready to be brought onto the air. And if I feel that you're going too long on the air, not to be rude, but our good friend Chewy here is going to let you know. Ain't that right, Chewy? That's right. So if you hear Chewy getting angry like that, then that means maybe you just want to wrap up the point that you're on there, and we'll get moving along. But no pressure. So it's all fun and games here. So Phil, does that sound pretty good? I think we're about ready to bring on a first caller.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Sounds good. Sweet. All right. So let's bring on our first caller from area code 469, and then we got another caller from area code 785. And we got a couple other callers in the queue, but just a reminder for those callers, press 1 on the keypad to be able to queue yourself up so that we know for sure that you are looking to be live on the show. So caller from area code 469, let's hear what they have to talk about tonight, live on Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Hello, is this Jeff?
Yeah, this is Jeff. Happy Shifta days.
Happy Shifta holiday. Every day is Shifta day. Right on, man. Happy holidays. Almost happy 2014. We're on the edge of the year, getting ready, setting some new intentions. So, Jeff, just maybe just introduce yourself to the people who are listening. I think you're like an admin for one of the Paradigm Shift communities. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm the admin for Paradigm Shift Dallas Fort Worth. And things are going good here. It's it's cold. It's Green Bay cold. But that's okay.
Cool, man. And what else? What in particular did you want to bring onto the show tonight in terms of either just updates or any sort of ideas, things you're interested in, like new revelations, whatever it is that you talk about?
Well, I just wanted to call in just to update, about the meetings and stuff like that we were going to have at the Earth School. And basically, once we have those meetings next year, they're going to be planned out every Tuesday or every other Tuesday. And, just wanted to set the intentions for anyone in Dallas or Fort Worth to go in and meet up at the Earth School.
Cool, man. And tell me what sort of stuff has been going on in those meetings for you guys?
Well, we talk about just raising the vibration and shifting the frequency. Of people that are in the Dallas area that kind of maybe don't have such a high vibration. And we also talk about. Go ahead.
No. Keep going.
We just talk about different ways that, we can empower our community and, make people in a better mood.
Cool, man. Now, just passing this off to Phil here, just generating a bit of conversation. I mean, Jeff, when you sort of use that term, like raising the vibrations or sort of like people with lower vibrations, like, I mean, for me personally, like I kind of try to stay away from terms like that, just because it almost sounds like a label, and I try not to sort of say like, oh well, those people have lower vibrations, I don't want to associate myself with them. Like, I'm just kind of curious, Phil, what? Because I mean, I know obviously there's no like negative derogatory intention involved with that, but Phil, like, what are your sort of thoughts on just like even the terminology behind the idea of like raising vibrations, and what do you think? Like, how can we sort of explain that so it makes sense to the layman?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, basically, I like to see everything through the lens of a story, and it seems to me that the mainstream culture is a big story that everyone's playing along with. It's basically like, hey, you have to get a job, you have to make a living, and you have to contribute to society, or else you're just a mooch and dumpster diving or whatever. And so, but a lot of people have begun to realize that that's just a story of how the world operates. And if you go to another culture in the world, they'll be operating in a completely different way. And so I like to see that no one's better than anyone else at all. We're all equal. We're all humans. It's just really a matter of how aware people are of their own participation in their own lives. And so we're kind of conditioned to just go along with the program, just be in this big stampede. And then when people wake up and are like, oh, I'm just in a stampede, like I can go chill over here. It's like, it's just, in my opinion, it's a matter of how aware people are that they're living in a story and they actually have the ability to change the course of their life by changing their story. And I really believe that our whole body is a symphony of vibrations. We're not just high or low, because to have some sort of scale where you see one side of the scale as way better than the other side, I think that's a silly perspective, because light only exists because of dark, and dark only exists because of light. So in my opinion, it's about embracing the whole spectrum and just realizing that no one's really doing anything wrong. It's just a matter of what is like helping evolution, and what decisions are actually leading to a more fulfilling and life that is in balance with the whole Earth community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if that
Jeff,
made any sense.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Jeff, any thoughts or response to that?
No, that's a great point. And, I've been studying a lot. I've been reading Shifting Frequencies by Jonathan Goldman. And, you may be at a higher vibration today than, you were yesterday. And it makes a lot of sense that, you're not, it's not a bad, or, it's not trying to label them. It's just, you're trying to spread peace, love, and joy, by sending out positive, and good vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting because when you sort of break it down to a science, like this whole idea of how do we change the world? I always like sort of bringing it back to that simple quote, that Chinese proverb that, like, if everyone swept their own doorstep, the whole world would be clean, sort of thing. Or I'm sort of reading our friend Rosalin. She's got a little, just a one sentence thing on her Facebook page that I'm reading right now. It says, "The revolution kicks off by first cleaning your garden," which is kind of a similar idea. But I mean, it's really interesting because, like, if we allow ourselves to be emotionally susceptible to everything that happens in our environment and just be basing our reactions on or just be basing our actions on reaction, then we sort of allow ourselves to become like victim of the system. But as soon as we sort of take a step back and like Phil said, sort of realize like that this story is taking place and that we have the potential to have more ability to create within it than we often realize, like it sort of gives us the ability to I like the saying that it's badass to keep your cool, sort of thing, like, yes, there is a time when you might need to like stand up for your friends and do this, but I mean, I think if somebody's like coming at you and they're really angry, the best thing you can do is not to meet their frustration with frustration. And it's kind of like that idea that if you walk into a room and it's full of hate, because I mean, a lot of people, they're becoming more familiar with this, like they're having these experiences where if you're around negative people, like you can viscerally feel it. A lot of people will just be like, oh, I'm just imagining it. But on a vibrational frequency scientific level, there's something that's happening there that's affecting the structure of your body. And in that sense, it's not likely that you're going to like fix that upsetness, like that displacement with more fear, like with more like anger. But if you bring in love into a room full of hate, or love and fear, just breaking it down to that simple binary, if you bring love into a room full of fear, scientifically the love will always transmute the fear. And it might not happen instantaneously, but it will happen, opposed to the opposite, which society might sort of teach us to do. And that's sort of, like this sort of macho idea where they try to teach kids to sort of like stand up for themselves. And I mean, that's kind of a topic in itself, how society is really like sort of like forcing. Yeah, it sort of forces like this like macho attitude onto a lot of males and sort of just like doesn't encourage them to be a little bit more like empathetic and passive. But a lot of people say like, oh, this goes hand in hand with like this rise of the divine feminine and this feminine energy. But no, I think that is just some ideas to think about. But yeah, Jeff or Phil, just some thoughts on that, and we'll sort of swing around and get moving along with some more conversation here.
Yeah, I'll share for a moment. What comes to mind is that when I first started realizing all these things about society, how all the TV stations are owned by 6 companies, for example, I got really angry about it and passionate to change it. And so I wrote on all my white T-shirts, "Live free, kill your TV," and and I'll just walk around high school with it. And a lot of my friends were like, "Oh my God, he's going crazy. What is he doing?" And like, and I knew that it was my truth, so I was going to keep sharing it, But I realized that people weren't going to be receptive to it if I was like shoving it down their throat and like trying to force them to change. So instead, I continued to change myself and change how I interacted with the world, and now 4 to 5 years later, a lot of my friends who previously thought I was crazy are now like coming to me asking me questions like, oh, what documentary should I watch, all this stuff, you know. And it's like, if you just continue to do your thing and to unite with people who are like-minded, then you will build a solid community so that when other people are ready, they will have a place to come to, you know?
Yeah. And that's like, again, like with the whole paradigm shift communities, the simple mindset behind it is really keeping that open door process. And that's where we really emphasize the importance of having regular meetings. And once you get into the hang of the habit of having regular meetings, it actually becomes easier once you make a habit and a routine out of it. But that's the thing, like when we're out there and we're giving out free hugs on the street corner and stuff, we'll give a pamphlet to a person, and that person might take that pamphlet and they might put it next to their computer, and they might not look at it for like a month or 2 months, but then eventually they'll just be like, you know, like maybe I should go check that out. And knowing that it is there when the time is right for them, like allows people to sort of just get there when they need to be. And you're right, Phil, like trying to force something. There's a difference between, you know, there's kind of, I mean, I'm not too familiar with it, but I know there's like a book like Power versus Force sort of thing. But yeah, like you're right, we shouldn't have to force anyone sort of thing. But Jeff, just some more thoughts there, and then I think we'll get moving on to our next caller. Anything you want to add?
No, you're totally right. I just wanted to, you know, speak on that as far as, you know, emitting your own, you know, vibration and not absorbing the ones around you, so that, you know, your light can shine and then others will find your light, so to speak.
Yeah, being a beacon, like in a very, very literal sense. Like, yeah, no, it's true. I mean, a lot of people they would think that, you know, this stuff is like woo woo, but no, there's definitely patterns. Like you can break this down to a science in the sense that like happy people equals more happy people kind of thing. So quite simple.
Right on.
Yeah, cool. Well, Jeff, thanks for calling in, man. It's always great to hear from you, and I'm glad to hear that things are going well with the Dallas-Fort Worth Paradigm Shift community. And, of course, people who might be in the area, of course, feel free to check that out. And you can find the link for the community through the main ParadigmShiftCentral.com website, and I'm sure Jeff will post a link for it into the live chat as well. So, Jeff, thanks again, man, and enjoy those
thanks,
buttons.
Brendon. Oh, of course. And just real quick, I just wanted to know if you got the, you know, that package that I sent to you.
Actually, no, I have not.
It had some. No?
It has not arrived. It hasn't arrived yet. So either it's still on its way, or we might have to look into that. So, yeah. Okay. All right. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
All right.
All good, man.
Cool,
all
man.
right. Thanks again,
Cool.
Jeff.
Have a good show.
Cheers.
Later. Philosophical.
Peace, brother. Thank you.
Right on.
All right, later, Jeff. All right, so again, that's our good buddy Jeff, one of the admins for Paradigm Shift Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, and yeah, just another example of how things are unfolding for him there. So really great to hear. Now, going to keep things moving along. Just actually going to have to take a little bit of a detour. I know, caller from area code 785. I said I was going to bring you on next, but I got another buddy who's calling in, and he's calling in from a not really consistent Wi-Fi connection. So we're actually going to bring him on before we actually lose the connection. And okay, hold on. Well, I think he's listening right now, but that person is our good friend Rain, and Rain's actually been on the show a little bit in the past. And just to give him a heads up, because he's just trying to figure out what's going on here, in terms of the conversation tonight, it's not necessarily about one topic or another, but we would be more than happy to hear about how things have been going for Rain. And I know he's been traveling a lot, so it'll be neat to hear how the world is looking from his perspective, wherever he is at that moment. So, Rain, if you're ready, no fear or anything, we're going to bring you onto the air, and we'll just go from there. So, Rain, if you're ready, here we go. Yo, man.
Oh, yeah,
you're on the air.
I was in the queue. I didn't even press 1, so.
Yeah, well, I saw you there, man. And, yeah, like do you got your headphones on yet, or do you need a...
I do. I hear a little bit of a feedback, though.
It might be.
Do you hear that?
Check. Nah, it's probably okay now. Anyways,
Sounds good.
cool, man. Rain, one of our professional vegans, or as I preferred in the past. Yeah, man, just good to hear from you. I know you've been keeping busy, and any stories, any sort of insights, how is the shift in consciousness looking from your end of things?
Oh, thanks. It's good to hear from you too. It's been a long time. I'm in Brazil right now and just having the most amazing time ever. You know, I love fruit, and they've got a lot of that down here. So it's been great. I don't know how awesome the business shift feels coming from a vegan in a meat capital of the world, but otherwise, being online, just being on like EWOW, you know, that site, EWAO, or
the Earth We Are One. Yeah.
Just being on there, I feel like there's always a lot of nonsense as usual, but I think we're making some progress.
Well, I guess that would be something to sort of talk about, man. A lot of people, they would ask a similar question, like, how do we maintain our integrity when we're in a society that's sort of telling us to not do what we're doing? And in your case, it's being a vegan in the meat capital of the world. How do you find that, man? Like, has it been challenging at times? Like, has it just been creating more opportunity to help educate people on your perspective on things? Or are you noticing that resistance? What's it like?
Well, I don't exactly know Portuguese yet. I just kind of came here for vacation and ended up getting engaged to the girl that I came to visit.
Yeah,
and so
congratulations.
I will be learning Portuguese. Oh, thank you. And so I will be learning Portuguese and dealing a lot with, hopefully, veganism in Brazil, but I haven't been able to communicate with many people down here about it all. But everybody seems very receptive and nice. That might just be because I'm a foreigner and they can't be rude to me. But it's other than Brazil, just talking to other people online, it's really great. Maybe it might be my own personal growth and being able to talk in a less sort of aggressive manner. I'm having a lot of people. Definitely are more receptive, and even recently a few people have decided to switch diets and have a more cruelty-free lifestyle.
Yeah, man, and that's like, I think that's what's really cool about what you're doing is that, you know, you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk, and you're a healthy guy, you're a happy guy. People see that, and people who may not even be too familiar with what you're about, they can sort of look in and be like, you know, like, what's this guy doing? What's he so happy about? And then when they sort of find out where you're coming from, it sort of gets them interested, gets them asking questions and stuff. But yeah, man, maybe sort of focus in on one thing here, and then we'll move on to another caller. Maybe just remind our listeners as to what it is that you're really like passionate about in terms of the vegan diet. You know, sort of just like, if you could explain it just in a couple minutes, like, why is it that people should be eating less meat and picking up more fruits, nuts, and berries and stuff?
Well, basically, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds are our evolutionary diet. They're the species-specific diet that we as humans have evolved to eat over the course of millions of years in the forests of Africa. Or if you don't believe in that sort of thing, it's very well documented in basically every myth and shamanistic tradition that we used to live in a paradise full of fruits and vegetables. The Garden of Eden is one story, but it's probably the most well known. And as you say, I'm super happy and super loving life. I feel blessed to have found a raw vegan diet because I just feel reborn, and I kind of just want to share that message with the world because I feel like everybody else will benefit from it as well.
Cool, man. Cool. And Phil, what's your diet like, Phil? Is Phil still here? He might have stepped away for a second.
No, I'm here. I was just checking in with my friend. Did you have a question?
Sorry, yeah, no, I was just asking. I mean, just in conversation here with Rain. Phil, what's your diet like?
Well, to be honest, I've explored a lot of different diets. I've been a vegan. I've been a vegetarian. I've explored other things, gluten-free diet, all that kind of stuff. And my favorite book on the topic of diet is called The Yoga of Eating by Charles Eisenstein. And he, similar to me, likes to try all the different options, you know. So he tried all these different options, and he found that what he was doing mostly was looking for external evidence for what he should be eating instead of actually listening to what his body wanted. And so I believe that, as you said, brother, we've been having a certain diet for millions of years, and so I believe we should all tune into what our body is really asking for. You know, you can kind of walk through the grocery store and like see what your body is drawn to naturally. And some people distrust what their bodies want because we've been conditioned to think that what our body wants is not what we should have. But he advocates that our bodies are actually smarter than our minds when it comes to food, and if we just trust what our bodies want, then we'll be guided to the right foods. And so for some people, a raw vegan diet is exactly what they need. For other people, the key might be going gluten-free. And I mean, also the holistic perspective of where are you getting your food from? You know, is it local? Is it from China? How is it, if you're getting like prepared food, you know, what if the chef is angry when he's making it? You know, like there's all these factors that go into food. And so I think it's a really important topic. And for anyone interested in diet, I highly, highly recommend The Yoga of Eating by Charles Eisenstein.
Right on. Cool. Well, okay, here's sort of a question. Actually, just sort of a quick thing on my own that I was thinking about. There's sort of a thing that I came across in the past, and it was almost like the idea of like a muscle test or something. And some people can try this practically, see if it works for them. But it's the idea that you like take an object, it could be, you know, in this case, like a food, and hold it in front of you, and then sort of like allow yourself to sort of relax and sort of see which way your body leans. And if your body leans towards it, like hold out a banana in front of you, if your body leans towards it, then that means that your body wants it. But if it sort of leans away from it and like back onto your heels, then that's your body, like the intelligence of your body actually saying that it doesn't need it. So I mean, if you were to do that, you know, if you hold up like a McDonald's hamburger, it would be like I don't know what the odds would be of a body leaning towards that. Like that just doesn't. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a side experiment in itself, but I mean, just in that sense. And then I got another question. But Rain, are you familiar with that? What I'm sort of talking about? Like, or just any thoughts on body intelligence?
Definitely, I definitely agree with what he said about just listening to your body. I think bodily intelligence, if you know how to listen, is the most useful tool. Not only just choosing a specific diet for one period for the rest of your life or whatever, but just what do I want to eat right now? What does my body want to eat? You don't have to call yourself a raw vegan to eat a bowl of fruit if that's what your body wants or whatever. But yeah, the guy who actually taught me the most about raw food culinary, just making food, was this guy named Omar, and he owns a raw vegan restaurant in Salt Lake City, Utah, where I live, and he does that. He calls it, what did you call it? The muscle testing sort of thing?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I forget what he calls it, but he would do that basically anytime he felt like eating something, he would do that, and he would close his eyes and put his hands to his heart, and just he wouldn't necessarily have to have the thing in front of him. He would just think about it and either go back or forward.
It's like using the body as a pendulum kind of thing. That's interesting. Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Okay. So just another question here, just sort of keep this concise and get some audience, some insight out of this, and then we'll move on to another caller here. But Rain, I saw a post earlier on in today. I think it might have actually been through the Earth We Are One group. And of course, for anybody listening, shout out to them because that's a big part. A lot of people who tune into this are a big part of that online community as well. And run a search on Facebook for Earth We Are One, and it's a really big chat group, one of the biggest ones out there within the conscious community. So shout out to everybody listening to that and part of that. And what I was going to ask, if people sort of throw that debate at you where they say, like, well, it'd be like, where they point out the fact that we have canine teeth, that we have, like, sharp teeth in the front of our mouth, and they say, like, well, those exist, therefore we're supposed to be eating meat, therefore, like, we're supposed to be carnivores. What's your sort of response to that if you were to get that thrown at you?
Well, first of all, humans have the least pointy and shortest canines of any ape, even the frugivorous apes, which frugivorous means it's like herbivorous, carnivorous. It's frugivorous, which means a diet of mostly fruits, vegetables, and nuts. And for example, hippopotamus, they have the largest canines of any animal, and they eat nothing but vegetables or plant matter. So that has one of the oldest and least based in truth arguments that people use.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that sort of easy myth that people sort of try throwing around and sort of thing. But I mean, do you think that's kind of normal for people to sort of want to be able to justify the reasons for us as a culture to continue to eating meat? Like, do you think that's kind of a natural thing?
Oh, for sure. I mean, nobody wants to really believe that what they're doing is not the best for them, the planet, the animals, or whatever. Nobody wants to be cruel except for some people, few people. But yeah, everybody wants to justify their actions and justify what they're doing so they don't have to change. Nobody really wants to change what they're doing unless they're truly unhappy with what they're doing. And so yeah, I think it's very natural.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, it's good that we got guys like you who can help add some more insight to that conversation. And Phil, I'll just pass it over to you, and then we'll switch over to another caller here in a second. Phil, was there anything else that you wanted to add just in the topic of diet and being more conscious of what we eat?
Well, one big thing for me is just truly enjoying your food. Part of the yoga of eating that I mentioned is truly being with your food while you're eating it, not being distracted, and thus you're able to fully taste it, fully enjoy it, and see if your body actually wants it. Because if you're watching TV every time you eat dinner, if you're eating something that you're allergic to, you're not going to necessarily feel it, especially if it's a subtle allergy. And so I just encourage people to really enjoy and taste all the flavors of your food, and I sometimes even eat with my eyes closed in order to fully taste everything. Yeah,
that's a simple thing that I think a lot of people can do. I mean, even just right now, I got a delicious bowl right next to me of some granola and some pomegranate seeds and some yogurt. And, I mean, it tastes good, don't get me wrong, but when we sort of close our eyes and really sort of bring that focus inwards, it really just allows us to appreciate that moment even more. I mean, like, that's a pretty big thing, man. I mean, being alive and being able to taste food, like, I don't think a lot of us really sort of just grasp the amazingness of that concept and experience. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
yeah, I don't know what breatharians are thinking. I think food is great.
Breatharians, that's a thing in itself. I'm not even familiar with that. Rain, could you tell us real quick about what that is, since you mentioned it? Breatharians?
Well, I'm not sure if it's really a thing, because every person that I've actually followed, which I used to be really interested in it, has actually come out to be a complete huckster, and it's basically breatharianism. You're not consuming anything other than light and oxygen and quote unquote prana.
Right.
But yeah, everybody I've found that does that has been caught eating at 7-Eleven or eating going to, as they call, Cheesecake Land.
Well, I think the concept itself is really fascinating, and I think there actually probably is something to that. Like, just the idea that, I mean, I think in general, we as a culture eat more food than we need, and I think as you sort of, going back to what we were talking about earlier, raise your vibration, quote unquote, or just start removing all the gunk that's naturally in our system, I think it's actually natural, because I've noticed this, it's actually natural to, like, need less food, so to speak, and then the question is, can it get to the point where, like, yes, can you literally just absorb, like, universal energy, like, through the organ of our skin, and just be able to, like, survive off that? I mean, yeah, that's a theoretical idea, just put it out there for the people to think about, but yeah, don't go starving yourself and tell us that paradigm shift made you do it. Please don't.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, well, Rain, we gotta move on to another caller here. Any last thing that you wanted to add before we let you go?
Okay, sorry, yeah, I've got to go too. Have a good night, guys. Great to talk to you.
All right, thanks again, man. Always a pleasure to hear from you. All the best. Cheers.
Later.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cool. Alright, so that's our good buddy Rain, and I'll post a link for his profile into the live chat. And we'll move on to the next caller, and we are at the top of the hour for the show, so it's about 10 o'clock. It's actually 9:56 p.m. where we are, and the 9 and the 6 is a big synchronistic sync up for me, so that means that things are exactly where they need to be in order to get to where they are going. But I just want to remind people before we get into the next caller, because I don't want to have to interrupt them, that if you want to be included in the draw for the free shift buttons, and again, the shift buttons are incredibly awesome tools to help you connect with people where you are, to be able to help make new friends, build community, and assist in the evolution of consciousness. If you want to get in the draw for the free shift buttons, simply send a message to facebook.com/paradigmshiftradio and let us know. And again, we are looking for some funds to be raised by the end of this episode so that we can give out more free shift buttons. Right now, the funds are at $72, which is where they were at the end of last week's episode. And if we can raise a little bit more, then we'll be giving away more batches of shift buttons. So let's see what we can do as a community. And remember, those shift buttons are literally going to be changing lives. So that's what the show is all about. It's not just about the education and the entertainment. That's the first step. The next step is being able to reach out and connect with people beyond this radio show to be able to change the lives of the people around us. So, and of course, you can always order the shift buttons through paradigmshiftcentral.com/buttons. You can do that at any point in the week, and doing that does help support the production and the regular web hosting costs that it takes to keep Paradigm Shift Radio running. So we'll move on to the next caller, and the next caller is a caller from area code 785, and we do have a few other callers lined up in the queue, which is wonderful to see. So after that, we have caller from area code 385, then caller from area code 816, then caller from area code 402, and then I think we got Brianna, who may be coming on a little bit later, and talking about some New Year's intentions and stuff like that. That's an important thing going into the New Year. Set some intentions, right? And then we'll see if we got some more callers lined up after that. So we got 1 hour left, and we'll try and end it off with a closing meditation as per usual within the last 10 minutes. So let's keep things moving along. And of course, big shout out to everybody in the live chat. We have 55 users. That's an incredibly awesome amount of people in the live chat, and there's more than that listening. And of course, please feel free to invite more people if you're enjoying this show, and check out the past episodes through the archive, through the main website, and all that jazz. So let's bring on the next caller from area code 785, bringing you live onto Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Yep. How are you doing?
Awesome. Caller, welcome to the show. What is your name? Where are you calling from? And what would you like to bring to the show?
My name is Carlos. I'm from Kansas. And I would just like to announce, if there's anybody else here in the chat room or anything, if they're from Kansas, I am showing, along with some other people that are helping me, we are showing Thrive at the local theater on January 14th at 7 o'clock. And this will be at the northwest part of Kansas. It's in a little town called Atwood. So I'm just announcing that. I want everybody to know that things are happening, and we're trying to get people to become aware of what's happening, and so yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's really great to hear, and no doubt, like, it won't just be watching a movie and then sort of walking away from it. I'm sure you guys will be able to hang out and get some after discussion going on there and everything. So that's cool, man. That's good to hear. And of course, I just posted a link for your profile into the live chat, and I'll include it into the show notes, so anybody listening to this on the YouTube can find it through there. But yeah, man. Well, just in terms of the conversation about the movie Thrive, those who aren't familiar, Thrive is a movie that came out a couple of years ago, back in 2012, I think, and has a lot to do. I mean, personally, I was really interested in it in the first part when it really got into the idea of the crop circles and the idea of like UFO technology and the idea of the suppression of free energy technology and how that's affecting the world. And then later on, it gets more into like the economic, sociological conditions of the world and everything like that. But let me ask you, what was it about the movie Thrive that made you choose that one in specific?
Well, it's kind of soft. It's not hardcore. You know, they don't talk about reptilians, and it doesn't go too deep into stuff. It's just enough. You know what I mean? Manipulation of the finances, and what I like about the movie is that it gives solutions. It's not about blaming someone, blame Obama, blame Bush, blame whatever. It's just you know, it's got a good comprehensive. It's really balanced, and it doesn't say you have to believe this. That's why I chose it. And I showed a movie about 2 months ago. It was called Sirius with Dr. Stephen Greer.
Right.
And then prior to that, some lady talked about or showed Why in the World is Spraying and the other one. And so even here in Kansas, you know, people are really starting to wake up. I mean, my presentation brought 13 people, but to me, that is a lot of people, especially here in a small town, you know. So, so it is a start.
That is, no, that's great to hear. And may I put forth the suggestion that when the time is right, you're more than welcome to put on a screening of Journey to Lucidity. I think I'd be very curious as to what the reception would be of people checking that out for the first time. So,
yeah, I never heard of it.
Oh, have you not seen Journey to Lucidity? Like the movie that, like, that's the one that I made of the festival and stuff from last year and stuff. Well,
this is my first time, brother.
Oh man,
I'm being on here. This is the first time I've listened to you. My friend, she's on here too. I see her name on the chat room. So
cool.
Hopefully you'll be able to get her because she's cool. So.
Oh, cool, man. Well, I'll just quick shameless plug for anybody who wants to check out the Journey to Lucidity movie. It's a full movie about a transformational festival. It has to do with themes of lucid dreaming and dream exploration. And part of the reason why I'm trying to get people the DVD is so that they can put on screenings of it in their location, be able to share it and use it as a conscious tool, much like what Carlos is doing with the Thrive movie. And ParadigmShiftCentral.com/JTL. I'll post a link for that. But again, like, I think one of the topics within the Thrive movie that I'm really interested in is even just the idea of crop circles. Carlos, what is your opinion, or what are your thoughts on the whole like crop circle phenomenon kind of thing?
Well, you know, I've never really investigated deep into that. I mean, I've skimmed some of the information, but who knows? I mean, the dark could be doing it, but again, it could be the light. You know, and they could be sending us messages through geometric shapes, and maybe it's raising our vibrations, what have you, but I really don't have an opinion about it, really. So. All
right. Well, I'll pass it off to Phil. See if he's Phil. What about you? Do you got any opinion on the crop circle phenomena?
Well, I really want to visit one myself and then feel the energy myself, because I read Daniel Pinchbeck's book called 2012, and his accounts of it just blew my mind. Like, some people walk into it and the energy's so strong that they just start crying. Like, it's like this powerful wave of love, basically. And intuitively, just all these accounts of people feeling these profound shifts in energy walking into them tells me that there's something bigger at play. And there's certainly hoaxes out there, but I think that's a sign that well, pretty much any good thing is going to have like a hoax version of it, you know. Yeah. And so just some of the designs and the evidence behind them, I'm pretty convinced that they're being done by other beings, non-human beings, whether they're originally from the Earth or originally from other dimensions or other galaxies. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty convinced that there's some that are surely not made by humans.
Yeah. Yeah, like the thing that I've always been really fascinated in the crop circle formation phenomenon thing, and like you said, Phil, like the fact that it's unexplainable alludes to the idea that there's more to this reality than we currently mainstream wise have a comprehension of. Like the whole idea that this reality is not as cut and dry, and of course the fact that the majority of the crop circle formations include some very intricate sacred geometrical patterns is another thing that I find really interesting. And I've sort of almost had this idea that, you know, sort of getting a little bit multidimensional, it's almost as if like the crop circles don't necessarily need a UFO hovering above it and like projecting something down for it to happen, but in some way or another it's almost as if like an energy of an intelligence that's on a higher dimensional level that's not necessarily bound to a physical body could in some way affect the material plane just enough in order to do it specifically to create these patterns. Because I mean, when you think about it, what is happening with the crop circle formation, as complex as it is, the process itself is a very simple thing that is just repeated numerous times, and what that is merely just like the stalk of the crop circle of the corn, usually just simply bending over. And in most cases, like they report, is that the crop circle, like the crops itself, are not broken, but rather they are merely just like leaned over sort of thing. So I mean, it's almost as if like theoretically imagine if something was on a higher dimensional level and it projected like a thought, an intent, in the same way that we can move matter with our mind, like in the same way that we can move our hand with our mind. I mean, again, this is sort of like, I don't have a definite way of how this works, but this is just pointing in a direction. But I do think it could be something like that, where on like a multidimensional level, like these symbols are being projected into the crops, because there's also the awareness of like whatever is doing it, it understands like how media works, and they don't just put like a crop circle in a random field and then just be like, oh, how come nobody saw it? Like they put it there because they know it's going to be seen, and they know that people are going to take pictures of it, and they know that these images, these symbols are going to appear on the internet. And it's the when you take, and this is the next part that I think is really the important thing, I think that even though we may not understand what the symbol is, I think merely looking at the symbol of a crop circle has the potential to do something. And symbols themselves, like symbols are the language of the universe. So if there is like a symbol or a sigil, like something with an intent behind it that is seen by someone, even though on a conscious level they see it and they'll just be like, oh, that's kind of neat, I don't know what it is. But then on a subconscious level, the act of seeing it is almost like running a computer program where it activates like some sort of latent conscious memory within our DNA, if you want to call it that actually like does something to the collective human experience. And when more people see that, like I think again, it's just like more people are seeing this imagery that exists through the crop circles, that it's as subtle as it is, I think through the mere act of observation, it's doing something to our consciousness. And I think over the years, as more and more have appeared, I think it's obvious, and even in the sense that it's created discussions such as the one that we're having now. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think, going back to Carlos?
What's that?
Or just in general, or I mean, not just about that, but or if you just got anything to add. Sorry. Just babble on it for a bit.
No, like I said, I haven't done any research on it, and really never. I mean, I've heard all that information, but it just never struck a chord with me for some reason. I don't know why, but it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. It is
and
interesting,
I've seen footage of supposed alleged UFOs making the crop circle or the symbol. So I've seen it. I've seen all that stuff. So yeah. So
yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? You know, it's an awesome universe, and there are a lot of things that are going to be revealed, and hopefully soon. You know, I think it is. I think 2014 is going to be a pretty interesting year.
Yeah. Disclosure 2014. Stay tuned for Paradigm Shift Radio. We'll be the first ones to report on it if it happens. Don't hold your breath, folks. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, no, just going back to what you mentioned there, like the idea of footage. I'm sure people can run a YouTube search on that. If somebody in the live chat is familiar with that, like there is that footage. I know which one you're talking about. A very distinct footage, and it shows like an orb, and you see an orb floating above like a crop, and then you see like a circle appear. Like it's not an incredibly intricate design, but you just see it floating there, and then it appears. And this sort of ties back with the idea that like some of these UFOs that we see in the sky are not necessarily physical craft, but they can be a little bit more multidimensional than we realize, and they're like orbs of light and stuff like that. But again, I could babble on about that forever, but I don't want to do that. But Carlos, let me just ask you, we're going to get moving on to another caller here. Is there anything else that you just wanted to share with the people who are listening?
Thank you for having the show. Like you said, my friend who's on here, she's the one that said, "Hey, you need to go. Let's try it out and everything." I said, "Okay, we ourselves." She has a show, and we're trying to switch to Blog Talk. So we're going to try to get that running in a couple of weeks. We're just kind of dabbling right now. So. Awesome.
Do you want to plug your friend's show? We are more than happy to be able to share the content that's out there. If you got the name for it.
Okay. Just go to her website. It's diamondsforever31.blogspot.com, and you can get all the information. And she has a lot of news that she puts out, and she tries the positive spin instead of the negative pointing finger spin. So
cool. Well, that's important. That's good. Awesome. Well, I'll check that out for myself, and I encourage other people listening to this, check it out. And again, we'll include that link into the show notes. And Carlos, are you in the live chat right now? Because I was going to say it'd be good just to connect over Facebook, and then I can send people your profile if they want to connect with the showing that you got planned.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that. Yes, I am in the chat room, so I'll just give my name out, and they can just, friend me out, and many friends that I can get, and because we need to get this ball rolling. It's going to be up to us, brother.
There we go, man. Perfect. Well, thank you for doing your part, Carlos. It's definitely making a difference. So much gratitude. Right. Cool, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, Carlos.
Yeah, happy Sunday, brother.
You too. Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
All right, so for Carlos and for anybody else who wants to be able to connect personally with myself through Facebook, you can do that through facebook.com/SkullBabylon, and I'll post a link for that real quick in the chat. And I'm also going to post a link for our good friend Philosophical, and he's at facebook.com/Phil's Ideas. So again, you can check us out on Facebook, connect with us, tell us what you're up to, and stay tuned in, and we'll be able to talk some more on future episodes of Paradigm Shift Radio. So 46 minutes left in the show, and we got a lot more callers in the queue, so we might have to do a follow-up episode about this eventually. But I know next week we're going to have a special guest on, just to put in an early plug. We're going to have Joyous Presence on the show. Some of you may be familiar with what he's up to. He's on the West Coast as well, involved with a lot of very interesting projects relating to, I'm more interested to hear what he has to talk about, but a lot of it has to do with sort of changing the way of how we educate the future generations, and that's really what Paradigm Shift is about. I mean, as important as this moment is, Phil sort of talks about this in the videos with the 11 keys, which maybe we'll get to real quick, but when I like what you said, Phil, like the idea that we're doing this for future generations, so that when our grandkids can look back and say, "Grandpa Phil, like, why were you doing all those crazy things back in the day?" Like, what would you tell them, Phil? What would you say?
It's a great question, and I think that's a big part of what motivates me, is that so I once watched a YouTube video with posing that question to me, and I was like, what would I tell my grandkid? I just smoked weed and watched Family Guy my whole life. No, I don't want to tell them that. I want to share these stories of inspiration and transformation, and I think that's what a lot of people realize on their deathbed. Life is just this huge opportunity, this huge blank slate of possibility, and you can literally do anything. And to have the limiting beliefs of this is what I have to do, this is how I'm supposed to be, is just the most boring way to live ever. And so yeah, I would just say seize the moment and live spontaneously and follow your dreams, share your gifts with people, and create your own destiny, because it's the most fun and fulfilling way to live.
Definitely. Well, Phil, we do have quite a few callers on the air. Do you think you can sort of list off your 11 keys, just maybe almost as quick as possible, just to save time for the callers, but still be able to get the information out there? So these
Absolutely.
okay, so let's do that. So these are some 11 keys for people who want to build community where they are, conscious community.
Yeah, and so this is after my experience of being a community organizer in my hometown of Peaceburg. And so the first key is make friends first, because you can't really expect people to show up to your event if you haven't developed a personal relationship with them. And so I really encourage people to make new friends. It's really fun, and you just get to learn about new perspectives, new people's experiences. Number 2 is fake it till you make it, because no one gave me permission to be a community organizer. No one really gave me a certificate or anything. I just started hosting events, inviting people on Facebook. Number 3 is amplify your impact with pictures, videos, and social media. So you could have an event with 13 people, as the previous brother said, and just that 13 people could enjoy it. But if you film it, you can then put it on YouTube, and it could have 100 views the next day, for all the people who couldn't make it. 3.5 is facilitate what wants to happen. So maybe there's already, it's kind of like listening to what the universe wants to happen, and start connecting the dots. Number 4 is remind. So people have very busy lives, and I've found that you really got to remind them several times about the event if you really want them to show up. Number 5 is empower others to give their gifts. So say somebody is really amazing at drumming, maybe they could open up the event with a little drum circle thing, and that just allows them to step into their gifts and their skills. 5.5 is everyone is a participant. So I really always encourage interactive activities. So it's not like people just come and watch a movie. I mean, that's good, but I think the key is afterwards having like a discussion group or having some sort of activity where everyone gets to participate. Number 6 is remember why you do the work you do. Because if you don't feel like you're actually accomplishing something, then you might get depressed, or you might just get let down if people don't show up or something. But if you remember, like, this is what I'm here to do, this is what I'm going to tell my grandchildren about, this is how we're going to really change the world, then that keeps you inspired. Number 7 is keep brainstorming, imagining, and telling the new story. So every time somebody comes to your event who's new, you say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is it. We're literally speaking the new reality into existence, and it's truly amazing. Like, just try it out. Number 8 is trust the process. So you're going to have ups and downs, which leads into number 9, don't get discouraged. I've had a zillion failures, but the key is to keep it flowing, keep the momentum going, and just keep at it, because the universe is going to test you. The universe is going to be like, oh, you really want to do this? I'm gonna test you.
Just make it difficult.
Exactly. But those make us stronger, and those make us more dedicated. So then there's no mistakes, only takes and non-takes. So I'll let you meditate on that one, everyone listening. And then the last one is always seek balance. So for me, that includes taking care of myself, not just trying to always serve the community, but make sure that I'm taking care of myself, eating well, sleeping well, all of the above. So you can check out the YouTube video. My YouTube channel is Cosmic Revolution KS. That's a quick download for you.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And again, people listening to this, I posted a link for the video in the live chat, and I'll post it into the YouTube episode of this, so you can find it there and watch it afterwards. And yeah, again, get inspired and be able to go out there and create community where you are. It's a very simple thing. It's a simple thing, but done very effectively, and that's really what it takes. So all the power to all the people out there who are inspired to go out there and build a community. So, and of course, if you're interested in specifically connecting with the Paradigm Shift Central Network, go to paradigmshiftcentral.com/start a community for some more tips and tricks on how to get things rolling along, connected with this awesome global project that we got going on. So cool, Phil. Thanks, man. Let's keep things moving along here. So apologies ahead of time to the people listening to the show who we may not be able to get to. This show, I will say, this has been a very successful show. We still have about 54 users in the live chat, which means probably about 150, maybe 200 are listening live right now, and we still got about like 7 or 8 people in the queue. But we'll get through as many as we can, and if we don't get to a meditation, then just encouraging people to do a meditation on their own afterwards. But we'll see. And again, just asking for people to be able to host an after-party hangout if somebody can do that. But we'll figure it out afterwards. I think Monica might be on the ball with that one. So let's move on to the next caller. So caller from area code 385. We're going to bring you onto the air if you're ready. So let's do that. So caller from area code 385, bringing you onto Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Can you hear us? Hello, caller.
Hello? Hello,
Yes.
hello.
Hello. Caller, what is your name, where you're calling from, and what would you like to bring to the show tonight?
Tammera Woodall, and I'm calling from Portland. I just recently came from Utah, escape, and Harmony Fronter House invited me in. I'm on her Ascension page. I'm on her Star Kids thing. I've been watching Chief Golden Light Eagle forever, ESETI. I really have banned the FB thing and the cell phone thing and whatever. I just started this November 1st. So now check this out. I did not ask for all these friends. 100 friends per month.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to pause the show in the background or something? Get a little feedback there. You can do that.
Yeah, I heard that.
That was my bad.
Oh, was that Phil? Okay. That was Phil. I apologize. Okay, we're all good. Okay, sorry. Caller, sorry, I didn't catch your name. What was your name?
Tammera.
Okay, sorry. Tammera, continue. And yes, what would you like to share with us on the show tonight?
Okay, you were saying about the crop circles. I've studied that, actually.
Cool.
Is a molecular change, actually. They looked at this scientifically. It changes the molecule, but without hurting the plant. And I believe it was in Germany that they found these like 4 different things that were different kinds of metals with the same pattern on it. And it's almost like maybe they set up some kind of resonance through that. I'm not sure, but, I have looked into a lot of this stuff. It's very interesting. And I've been watching you. You're up by Mount Adams, right?
Me? No, I'm in London, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay. That was James. He was in the other thing. Okay. That's the ESETI thing. I just got on this, and I'm really a terrible tech person. I was Apple IIe. I knew DOS. Anyway,
You made it on.
You're here. Yeah. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. I'm so glad Harmony invited me. This is stuff I've been studying forever. And I know about the 11-11, 12-12, 13-13, all that. And I'm just so happy that you've linked up here, and I really support what you're doing. I loved the stuff about the diet. I agree entirely on that not everybody can deal with the same diet, but I myself am going the vegan. Usually do a lot of the the fruits and nuts and all of that. I've been studying that too. I started college when I was 16, kind of a special thing, and it was for pre-med. Found out what was going on in the Western medical community, and I dropped the heck out. But I went through 3 years, finished all my generals, and I found out that Big Pharma Corps actually is bribing these doctors with trips and golf clubs and whatever to prescribe these poisons that don't cure. And so I'm kind of upset about that, and I've been educating people about a lot of things. Yes, and I'm so surprised about the response. I mean, I've got people all over the world on my Facebook page now. All over, not kidding.
And did you want to, what's your Facebook page? I'll just ask you that real quick.
It's Tammera Sue Woodall, and that's Tammera SUEWOODALL. Here, I'll post it in the chat as well.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Tammera, just keeping in mind that we want to be able to get some more callers, can you maybe just pick one thing and that you would just like to share, and then we'll get moving along?
Well, okay,
something important.
On my page, sure. On my page, I've got a lot of cool links. I've got some of my art, some of my poetry, some of my writing. I'm working on a book right now. I've been working on it. It's wisdom teachings, but it's through a tarot, but it's different. It's not the tarot anyway, but hopefully that will be published sometime in the spring. I've got a link through that. There's a Portland writers group I just got invited to. Hopefully through Llewellyn I'll publish. That's one of the only ones to publish tarot cards here. The other one I believe is in Italy. So anyway, but I'm planning on going to that, their meeting, and so we'll see. But, if you want to check out any of my stuff, it's there on that Facebook page.
Perfect, yeah, and I just posted a link for that, so people can find that in the live channel.
I see this.
Yes.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much for your work.
Well, thank you, Tammera. And maybe, again, just to sort of hit off on what you were talking about with the tarot card there, I think that's an interesting topic there, and maybe let's just take a couple minutes there. But just in your own words, what is the value of something such as tarot, maybe for somebody who has thought about it yet unfamiliar with it? What could someone get out of the whole tarot card process?
Well, to me, it's a link to your unconscious mind and a way to tell yourself what you are thinking, to sort it out, basically. It's not, the way I do it, it's not the same, though. I've put runes, I've put I Ching, I've put the Kabbalah, I've put all of that together, and I've balanced the equations. There's no more holes in the tree. It's an interesting thing. It has more cards than the original tarot, and I think it'll help some people, and that's really what I want to do, is just help. And I've been doing this because of them, not because of me. I actually hate Facebook. It's funny, but I'm on here so much, and some people don't like all the notifications, but I'm trying to help, and a lot of people do like it. So I don't care.
Well,
if they don't like it, they can go do something else. It's not my problem. I might actually be offline before too long and moving up to Washington, in fact, again, because I've been there for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it'll be interesting once the internet goes down and we'll be doing this entire show telepathically. Like, that will be,
Kill the Matrix, baby! Hey, I love it.
Your frequencies.
And by the way, Zeitgeist movies on Netflix. I heard you talking about Thrive. I've watched that one. There are 3 movies in the Zeitgeist series, and those are about basically taking back our world through nonviolence.
Yeah.
Getting off the wheel, just refuse to do it, Occupy movements, all that.
Cool. All right, well, go ahead, Phil.
I was just saying, especially, I think the moving forward, the third Zeitgeist, in my opinion, is the best one to watch for anyone.
It's awesome, dude. I love those guys.
Yeah.
So, crazy,
definitely. Definitely just encouraging people to check out a lot of the awesome conscious media that is happening out there. And of course, Zeitgeist, Kymatica, a lot of those. I mean, Kymatica was one of the first documentaries that I remember watching back in the day. It was really cool. Just, of course, it's all information. Think for yourself. That's the most important thing. Don't live by these documentaries. Just help them be sort of, remember, they are the finger pointing at the moon. Do not forget that, boys.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Anyway, sorry. So, Tammera, we'll let you go for now. Thank you so much for calling in, and I've sent you a friend request on Facebook. So, looking forward to connecting with you.
Right on.
Thank you, and shout out to Harmony and her whole wonderful family. If you're listening,
shit.
I love you guys.
I think
so
it's
much.
a guy, actually.
A different Harmony?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
No, I'm pretty sure Harmony. Okay, anyways. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. All right, thanks, Tammera.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. All right. Okay, cool. So, definitely having a lot of fun with this episode. That's pretty obvious. And like I said, there's a lot of people still in the queue, and not entirely sure how many we'll be able to get through. Maybe within the last 15 minutes, might actually be trying to bring on a couple people at once, but I don't want things to get too hectic. But we will play it by ear. But, yeah, there is, more people in the queue than I can even count right now, which is awesome, because that means we'll do more community call-in episodes in the future. And just reminding you guys, again, we are still looking to gather some funds through the GoFundMe.com/ParadigmShiftCentral. So if you are enjoying this show, if you want to be able to show your love and to support the production time that goes into creating it and doing it weekly to share with the world and inspire people and change lives all across the globe, then send a little bit of Space Cash to GoFundMe.com/ParadigmShiftCentral, and that Space Cash will be transformed into free buttons for people in the community. And still looking for more people to get involved with that button draw, and we'll be doing that in the last 5 minutes. Again, send a message to Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio. Send a message there to enter yourself into the button draw. But that's your final reminder, and we'll be doing the draw. So right now, we haven't gotten a new donation since the start of the show. So if we get one more new donation, then we'll be giving 2 draws out at the end of the episode, which means more buttons and means more love and more hacking the matrix. So moving on to the next caller now, we're going to get into caller from area code 816. And again, apologies to those of you who are called in, but thank you so much for tuning in, and definitely we'll be able to bring more people on in the future. So caller from area code 816, we're bringing you live onto the air. Here we go. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Caller, what is your name? Where are you calling from? And what would you like to bring to the show?
Sure, Brendon. My name is Katie from Kansas City. I don't know if you remember me, but I
think I
did
do.
your. Okay, yeah. So I'm from Kansas City. I think we messaged a couple of times, even recently. How are you?
Good. This is Katie. Say your last name, and then I'll know for sure.
Yeah, Katie Smith.
Okay, Smith. Okay, all right. I think I have another Katie. Go ahead, Katie. Just
No, there's a billion people on this planet. No problem. So I know that you guys have a little bit of time, so I don't want to talk anybody's heads off, but I did want to bring something to light that I had been really interested in and that I tried recently. I'm really big into homeopathic remedies. In fact, at one point I had a tumor that was inoperable that I was told that can't be cured, and I was able to do it through herbs. So I'm very big on that sort of thing, and oddly enough, the universe likes to throw a lot of odd physical things my way. So long story short, the past few months, I'd had some funny symptoms come up, and one was I was having what felt like minor heart attack symptoms. Like there's a fist that's constantly squeezing my heart. I have pain going down the left side of my body, and some jaw pain, and several other things. I had some issues with my stomach, and it kept getting worse. And finally, I just, I was talking to a friend who's like me, and she'd kind of known about this. I said, "This is just getting ridiculous. I don't know what to do." And funny enough, a few years ago, I had told her about oxygen therapy. It was something I had looked into. She later took it and ran with it, and she got something called, it's food-grade vegetable hydrogen peroxide. And so she said, okay, and she had tried it, and she had a few different things that it cured. Gave it to some friends. It cured some stuff too. And really quickly, if people don't know what this is, what oxygen therapy is there's a science that says nothing negative can live in your body if it's got oxygen. So pretty much it just shoots. You know, you take different drops of it a day, like 3 times a day. You take X amount of drops, and it oxygenates your body. It will kill viruses. It kills bacteria. It kills infection. It cures cancer. It does a host of things. And so I started this yesterday, and I was so happy because I woke yesterday after I started it. An hour later, I didn't have any heart pain whatsoever, and my system is going back into balance. And this is day 2 of it, and I'm feeling amazing. Like, it literally feels like I'm floating, and it's funny because you actually feel lightheaded because you have more oxygen. And so I just wanted to briefly come on and say something, hoping that, you know, maybe if somebody is going through something else, that it could help them. I've had so many times in my life where I've had a doctor tell me, this is what you have. You'll either have it for the rest of your life or you will die as a result, and you can't do anything about it. And I would like to be a person that says, BS, you can cure anything. You just have to have the will to go find the resources for it. So I just wanted to share that. I don't want to take up too much time because I know other people want to speak, but hopefully that could help somebody or somebody that maybe somebody knows.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's great. Yeah, go ahead, Phil, if you want to jump in on that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I totally believe in it. I've healed myself of numerous things many times through alternative techniques such as similar to the one that you're sharing. And part of my daily medicine intake is intense exercise, which also allows for full oxygen to go through your body and oxygenate every cell. And so I'm definitely interested in what you're sharing, and I also encourage everyone listening to see exercise as a key component of keeping good health, because that's the easiest way to oxygenate your whole body.
Definitely. I completely agree, and same with me. I've tried herbs before. I love herbs. In fact, herbs cured a paraganglioma that I had. It's a tumor on my neck that they tried to operate on, and it was a mess. It was a nightmare. And I had that for 8 months, and I had taken herbs. I took like a regimen of garlic, olive leaf, oregano, several different things. And what I had for about 9 months that I couldn't cure, within about 2.5 months went away, just shrinked. Literally, it just shrunk over a week period. And what I like about this therapy, and that my friend had told me, and I've heard from other people about this therapy, are herbs are wonderful, and of course food is the best medicine, right? It can be a bit of a slow process. This is a bit of a faster process. So that's just something that I wanted to share with everybody as well. But yeah, I agree. Herbs are great. Exercise, of course, is wonderful. Completely agree.
Very, very much so. Very much so. Cool. All right. Well, Katie, I appreciate you calling in, and it's a pleasure to hear from you. And I know very, very sincere, sweet nature in your voice. So it's great because that was very much from the heart. And I just really appreciate you calling in.
You know what, Brendon? Shut up, because you don't know me. I don't appreciate you judging me that way. You have no idea.
I apologize, Katie.
I can get really irritated. You have no idea. I'm kidding. I'm not going to take up any more time. I'm going to shut my mouth. Go talk to somebody else. Talk to somebody else more than me.
All right.
No problem. Good night, guys.
I put your link into the live chat so people can add you there, and we'll post it into YouTube as well. So, Katie, I'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot for calling.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man. Thought I was in trouble there for a second. Scary moment. Anyways, all right. Well, let's keep moving along here. And actually, we're gonna jump around in the queue. And again, I apologize for everybody not being able to get on all at once, but definitely stay tuned for future episodes. We're gonna sort of switch things up a bit here. We're gonna actually bring on our friend Rosalin, and she is just a really cool person. She's been doing a lot of traveling, and she in herself has a YouTube channel, and she'll be able to talk a little bit about that. Curious to hear what she has to share. And then we'll actually be bringing on Joyous Presence a little bit later. After that, we might be able to slip in one more caller, and he might be actually leading us into a little bit of meditation, so stay tuned for that. But let's bring on Rosalin, and we'll keep continuing the show as we go from there. So Rosalin, she'll correct me once I bring her on. So bringing you onto the air, here we go. Hey, awesome. Can you hear us?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My name is Rosalin.
Rosalin. All right, awesome. That makes it easy. Sweet, cool. Got some culture diversity going on here. I know us people love to hear people with different accents. So, but don't let me dwell on that too much. But anyways, Rosalin, what would you like to bring to the show tonight?
Well, I sort of have a story that I wanted to talk about. Something that happened to me in Townsville when I was traveling up to Cairns. and me and 4 friends were sort of sitting late at night in Townsville at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and next we'd been talking to this Aboriginal man who was very drunk and stuff, and he was having a hard time in life, and we were just talking him through it, and he fell asleep next to us. And about 5 minutes later, the police came and told us to move on and games and stuff, and like everyone was sort of focused on listening to the police. And I turned around and looked at the man who was sleeping, and there was 2 security guards to wake him up with a taser. I went over there and I just thought like, what are you doing? You know, like you can't do that to a human being. And I sort of stood up, which I normally would sort of like. Normally you just wouldn't see things like that happening because I don't know, it's sort of kept under the rug. But yeah, we all stood up and we were like, what are you doing? And the police, they were actually had their backs turned to it all, and I yelled to the police like, are they allowed to taser that man awake if he's sleeping? And the police sort of just didn't care at all, and like it was just injustice for us. We like me and my mates, we sort of they wanted to take the man to the watchtower, the Aboriginal man, for being drunk on his own land, and yeah, we sort of just battled the police verbally and mentally with human rights and different things like different sections of the law and stuff. And for an hour, we had this big debate and argument with the police until they finally gave in and said, okay, fine. Like, it felt like it was maybe a step in history, like, fine.
Yeah.
And we'll like just walk away. And, you know, it made a big change. That man gave us a place to sleep that night.
Oh, wow.
And, like, it's just like, it was just like an experience of being aware and being ready to sort of stand up for what's right, not being ignorant, keeping our eyes as open as possible, especially in these times. You know, it was a really special moment for us all. Like, I don't know why, it was really special.
That is, yeah. No, that's a great story. That really is, yeah. Just kind of a reminder of just the things that we can do. I mean, it's so easy to be in a situation like that and just like walk past it and say like that's not my problem. But then you can sort of get into the Buddha nature of it, and you sort of like see everybody's suffering as the collective suffering of ourselves, as consciousness objectively. And I see where you're coming from in that, where, you know, you're just like, I'm sure if you hadn't done anything, it would have just like haunted your mind for the rest of the night. So yeah.
It was wrong, you know, the way they did it. But yeah, we really made a stand for like one small step for humanity in our own way.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, the microcosm is the macrocosm, and that definitely makes a difference. Yeah. And even sharing that story here is a big part of that story. So no, stuff like that, I think it's great for people to hear, to be inspired, and to give them hope. And I'm sure that man, he was very grateful for it. So after you guys hung out with him, was there any sort of interesting conversation that sort of came out after that?
Yeah, he talked about a lot of the corruption and the way he felt he talked about the way he felt about Europeans coming in and, you know, controlling them, and like he's saying like, all you white fellas can go drink on the street and go to your pubs and stuff, but I can't sit down on a piece of grass and rest my head without being tased awake and being told to go to the watch house. Like, it's complete injustice. And we sat with him all night actually till the sunrise, just talking with him and spending time with him, and, you know, like, it was just really beautiful. It was just really, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Phil. Oh, I appreciate you sharing that, Rosalin. That's great. Phil, what do you, any response to that story?
Yeah, I just really commend you guys for standing up for what you believe in. I think that's really, really a moving story. And yeah, I think those kind of stories need to be told more and more. You know, I believe that the mainstream news pretty much covers 1% of all news stories, and it's the most kind of shocking, awful stories you can imagine. But there's 99% other stories that are happening just like the one you just told, that I feel it's our responsibility to tell and spread through the internet, through video, through blogging, all of the above, to let people know, you know, okay, there's maybe 10 murders in the U.S. every day or whatever, but there's there's 100,000 births, all these babies coming into the
Mm-hmm.
world, smiling and laughing and spreading love. Who's telling those stories? And so yeah, I really commend you for doing that, and also taking the next step by spreading it, telling it to more people.
Mhm. Definitely. Cool. Well, Rosalin, before we move on to the next caller, remind people, what is your YouTube channel? Because I'm not sure if you've put any stuff up recently, but some of your old videos, I love them, and I'd be more than happy to share them again through the Paradigm Shift Central website. But yeah, just remind us, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, well, this morning I woke up and I deleted a lot of things I've made in the past, and I'm this year I'm going to started in it from a new perspective, because when I did those videos, I dropped out of school and I'd been was living in a small town, and my perspective is a lot smaller than it is now, and so I want to sort of change the platform of what I'm talking about. But yeah, my YouTube is Stardust Oddity or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get it into the show notes, but yeah, no, that's cool. It's good to hear from you. I mean, it honestly, like, I know you had been traveling for quite a while, so I'm glad to hear that you're safe and that you've definitely gotten a lot out of the experience. So, anything else that you want to share with us before we move on to the next caller?
No, not particularly, but I'll stay in touch.
Sounds good. Awesome. Cool. All right. Thanks a lot, Rosalin. That was a wonderful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. So.
Yeah, as well.
All right. Take care. Much love.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. So we got about 13 minutes left in the show, and yeah, we're gonna bring on one more caller, and then we're gonna bring on. Okay, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna bring on one more caller, talk for like 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then we're gonna do the draw for the buttons. And so far, still sitting at the same fund amount for the buttons. But of course, if you want to be able to support the show, you can still donate after the show airs, and it does make an incredible difference just being able to help support the production time that goes into this. And if you just want to be able to, just one way of supporting the project is just getting buttons the regular traditional way and just ordering them through ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons. But we'll do the button draw after this next caller, and then we'll bring on Joyous. And then I think he's going to sort of lead us into a bit of a meditation, and then we'll be wrapping up the show, and then we'll be moving into the After Party Hangout. And find the link for the After Party Hangout through the Facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio page. And of course, continue the conversation in the live chat, but don't just wait for this live chat to end. Continue the conversation in the live chat through the main website anytime during the day, throughout the week, and share this episode once you've listened to it if it inspires you, so more people can be inspired by it. So let's bring on the next caller. Caller from area code 402. We're going to bring you onto the air. And again, apologies to the other callers. We'll definitely be looking to get more people on in the future, and thanks for being a part of this. So caller from area code 402, bringing you onto the air. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, caller.
Hello. Happy Sunday. How's it going?
Doing pretty awesome. So caller,
yeah.
introduce yourself. What is your name? Where are you calling from? What would you like to bring to the show?
I'm Adam. I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. I hung out with Phil a couple of years ago and
right on.
visited me here on his bike tour across the country, and wanted to call in and say hi to everybody. And I think everybody that's probably listening is a leader in one way or another, and I just want to honor what they do. And Phil has affected me in my life quite a bit, and there's a lot of good stuff here in Lincoln going on that's kind of resonated from his positivity, and turned me on to some pretty cool stuff like yoga and Eckhart Tolle and stuff. So Phil's a great guy, and I just wanted to say hi. I haven't talked with him before for about a couple of years, so I just want to say hi and hi to the world, really.
Awesome. Well, that's hello to you as well. Phil, go ahead.
Hey, brother, it's so good to hear your voice. And yeah, I mean, I'll talk to you. I'll talk in a I guess quadrangle here to you, to Brendon, and to everyone listening. So yeah, Adam's videos. We have a reciprocal inspirational relationship, because his videos, and in fact a YouTube community that he helped to initiate called IshTube, was spreading the inspiration from a book called Ishmael. And when I first came across those videos, it was when I was in my pissed off at the world phase in high school, where I was killing my TV and all that. And then I started watching these YouTube videos, and it convinced me to read Ishmael. So then I became friends with Adam through YouTube. And then my friends and I biked across the country, and we actually met in person. And so he was my first YouTube friend that I met in person, and we had such a great time visiting with you and your family, brother. So thank you for all that you're doing as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, keep up the good work. We love you here.
Awesome. And Adam,
I love you guys too.
Plug your YouTube. What's your YouTube?
It's Adam Hintz, Hintz. So just look up Adam Hintz, you'll probably find me. ADAM Hintz.
Sweet, man. Well, yeah, looking forward to checking that out. I mean, that's the great thing about this show, is just being able to connect with more people, and that's the magical thing about this. I'm sure people listening to the show will be able to make new friends out of it and go on crazy bike rides across the country and be able to hang out with them as well. So.
The real stuff happens in the real world, but
that's right. That's
the internet definitely an educational tool to definitely use. So
cool. All right.
Good luck to everybody.
Cool. Thanks, Adam.
Big hugs
for calling in, man.
Big hugs to you and the family.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
All right. Peace.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So it seems that Phil knows at least like one of the 5 people who call into this show. We're getting a nice ratio. They're like immediate friends with Phil, so that's pretty cool. We'll have to keep Phil around, I think. So. All right. Well, let's do the quick raffle draw for the buttons. And as it is right now, we are only doing one batch this week, but we will be doing another batch next week. And more batches are relative to the donations within the funding between now and next week. And of course, please do not hesitate to donate beyond this episode being live, and just show your support by doing that, or of course ordering shift buttons through the main website. But we're going to do this draw now. So these are with the names that are left over from the draw from last week. So I'm just going to do a quick ohm, so we'll see who the universe is going to choose for this. So Phil, you can join me in a quick ohm here. So 3, 2, 1, and All right, and the winner for this week is, the universe has officially chosen Joel. So sweet, that's actually Joel Buck. He was one of our new listeners.
Yo.
So Joel Buck, getting some buttons, man. Nice. Awesome. I'm happy to hear. So Joel's going to be getting his buttons in the next little bit. And, big shout out to him. And, again, if you want some buttons, order them for your own. I know Joel's going to be psyched about that. And, hack the Matrix.
Joel's going to have his own talk show pretty soon. I'm prophesizing it.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, man. He's got a lot to say. Cool. All right. Okay, let's keep things moving along, and let's bring on our friend Joyous. And Joyous, he's got a lot of stuff going on, and he's going to talk a little bit about it and setting things up for next week's episode. But you can check out some of his stuff at timelessearth.com and learningpassion.com. So without further ado, let's bring on Joyous, and wrapping up with about 7 minutes left on the air. So Joyous, if you're ready, bringing you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, brother.
Aloha. Hey,
Aloha.
How's it going?
Right on, man. Doing pretty awesome. Doing pretty shifty. Doing pretty shifty, you know.
Doing pretty shifty. That's what I'm talking about. Well, it's an honor to be here with you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, man. All right. So, man, just with a little bit of time that we got left, just share with the people whatever it is that you have in your heart.
In my heart right now is so much gratitude as we come to this new year. I know 2013 was super powerful and expansive, and yet for many quite difficult. There was a lot of, I don't even know if you want to call it karmic reflections, but things seemed to come up, particularly in April, March of this year, quite a bit that was transmuted. And everyone I'm working with, I'm working with people who are shift agents who are here to usher in this new paradigm that you so beautifully speak to and enhance every day. In all different arenas. High up in the financial games and the business development arena, sustainable community development creations, all across the spectrum, people's projects are blossoming and they're connecting in exponentially enriched ways. And so I'm just so excited to see everyone fully stepping into their power, blossoming. I'm feeling this wave of energy that we're all riding into the new year, and knowing that this year astrologically is a powerhouse year of a lot of movement and traction, and feeling the abundance for our tribe, for this family that is so devoted to experiencing a thriving, enriched worldview. And we are the paradigm shift. We, embodied in these human forms, are the universe looking at itself, as you so beautifully said in your 5-minute paradigm shift video on the website. So I'm just so excited to see more and more people embracing the truth of their core essence and dropping into that quintessence to truly flower a expanded perception and embodied love reality in the human experience. For
Beautiful.
us personally, I have, as we will talk about next week, I have a 501c3 called Transdimensional Illumination and a for-profit called Timeless Solution that I designed to synergistically work together to innovate educational paradigms. So we're creating integrated solution sets to enrich the learning landscape and empower today's youth, tomorrow's leaders, along with the adults who love them, to step into this new paradigm with ease and grace, and even affect policy shifts to make it an educational norm for people to have the base competency to truly have a balanced, fulfilled life experience. So bringing sacred geometry and some of these other concepts that you talk about here into the educational norm for all people, and also focusing on some of the underlying facets that are really essential before we get into reading, writing, and arithmetic, more such how do you learn? There's a science to learning.
Yes.
There's a science to hacking reality and biohacking. Also, what is your core life purpose? If you don't know your what, if you don't know why you're really here, nothing else matters. Along with, of course, breath techniques and somatic or body awareness and emotional intelligence. So we're working with open source curriculum sets and bringing in today's activated youth to work with distinguished superstars that we're reaching out to now, such as Russell Brand and Richard Branson, people who are calling for educational reform and have attained a high level of recognition in the echelons of the human experience. So we're really excited for what's happening this year, and what I'd love to share on next week, we'll go much more in depth on this subject. Right now we're also launching a eco-social entrepreneur incubator to bring together the world's leading social maverick entrepreneurs, innovators, and cultural creatives to bring forth their globally eruptive, paradigm-shifting companies and enterprises into mixed living, working incubator environment where we'll be actually live streaming high-quality edutainment or multimedia that's entertaining and educational to the world to share with them the life story of these visionaries who are so devoted to co-creating their experience, which is something I'd love for you to come be a part of. I just want to take a moment. I know I'm speaking really fast because I really want to honor everyone's priceless time today and get us out of here on proper timing and get time for the meditation. So I just want to really quick round that in with 3 deep breaths. This has been such a powerful show today, and I really appreciate you holding it. So let's take 3 deep breaths, and then we can move into a meditation. Thank you all so much for indulging me and for the brilliance that you represent. We are all unique facets of light, and by coming together, we form constellations that the world can see. It is such an honor to co-create reality with Brendon and with Phil and with all the people on this call and all those around the world who are so devoted to really seeing the human experience as a thriving, joyful, abundant, healthy reality. And it is absolutely possible. The inner and outer technologies exist. We're in a beautiful plug-and-play arena where everything already is there, and it's just about integrating. It's just about allowing it. It's not even the law of attraction. It's the law of allowance. So what are we allowing to blossom into creation now? To move us into a meditation, if you like, I would love to just prime it with this beautiful piece of paper that my beloved friend Carla handed me, which has the Optimist Creed on it. And as I read this,
Joyous, I'll have to just sort of stop you for a second. Time-wise, the show is going to go live off the air in about 1 minute, but that doesn't have to stop us from doing the meditation because a lot of people are going to be able to listen to the show afterwards, and the recording will go beyond what the live show actually is. So for anybody listening to this live, do not forget to check this show out again through the exact same Blog Talk link that you're listening to it live through now, and to be able to listen to it afterwards. And but let me just check with you, Joyce. Do you still want to be able to go through with the meditation? Is that?
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So let's still continue. But yeah, we're gonna go live off the air in about 30 seconds. Reminder to people to go to facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio. We'll post the chat for the after party hangout up there in a little bit. And stay tuned for that and continue the conversation there, and lots more awesome opportunities to connect with people. So for everybody listening to this live, thank you once again for listening. Check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com. Show your love. Go out there. Change the world. And thank you once again for just choosing to be the change that you wish to see in the world. So we're going live off the air now, but Joyce, let's continue this for the recording officially.
Beautiful. Well, Happy New Now to all. And we're just going to flow into the Optimist Creed. And I ask you just to close your eyes and feel this in your body, as we know that the heart is 1,000 times plus electromagnetically stronger than our brain, and our feelings are hundreds of times more powerful than our thoughts. So just feel yourself embodying this Optimist Creed. I ask you now to promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile, to give so much to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. We have all suffered in this human experience, and that is where compassion comes from, which to me is the greatest wisdom. Let us now embody the 3 highest vibrational qualities before you reach the perceived level of enlightenment: love, joy, and peace, in that order. That we find the compassion through embodying these states, these vibrational qualities of being, and truly be optimistic in this beautiful, precious, sacred gift of life that we have been given. We are the universe experiencing itself subjectively, and what a beautiful honor for the universe to wake up through us in human form. I give thanks to the beautiful people listening to this call for the work that they do every day to elevate themselves in the realization that world peace does come through self-peace, and that the more we share our smile and our unique gifts with the world, the more ecstatic this experience will be for all. I pray for overwhelming abundance, love, joy, equanimity, compassion, strength, vitality, vibrance, beauty in your life. I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame, to light alone I bow. I am the violet flame in mighty cosmic power. I am the light of God shining every hour. I am the violet flame blazing like a sun. I am God's sacred power freeing everyone. May these words, these vibrational qualities be embodied by the bioelectrical computer that your body represents, the ultimate technology of biology. You are loved, and you are loved. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. Aloha.
Nice, man. Awesome. Cool. Well, enjoy it. Yes, aloha and aho and namaste and all of that awesome Ubuntu and Ilaka Shalakan, and thank you so much. Now, enjoy it. I mean, it's really up to you. I mean, we can always sort of save the meditation for another week. I mean, I think that in itself was pretty good, just sort of to be able to reflect upon that. I mean, the option is yours, really. Because, I mean, if we can do it, I was just going to say, if we can, I mean, we can do one now and then we can do it on the next show, but doing it live is always a little bit extra interesting. So maybe we can sort of encourage people and get them.
It's super potent, yeah, to do one live. And there's a great one that involves going through and smiling to all the cells of the body, which is actually a technique that I learned through reading a book called Through the Gods, which is for people seeking breatharianism and finding out how to truly bring in life force into the body, prana. And so that one takes a little bit longer, and it is more powerful live because you can feel everyone. If you would like to flow us into another sort of meditation, I would be more than welcome to listen to that. I would love that, actually, although for me, I feel complete in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the meditation, I was more going to set it up for you to do it. Like, I'm content with where we are at. And I think at this point, it would be good for me to sort of switch gears and to get things set up for the after party anyways. But like I said, I think what you were reading there, like, that was pretty, meditative in itself. So Phil, do you feel complete? I mean, we put in a good, honest amount of energy, I think. Phil, what do you think? I don't know if Phil's still with us or not. Phil might have stepped away from the computer, but anyway.
Sorry, I've been muted the last 2 seconds. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, okay.
I really enjoyed the meditation, so thank you, brother. And yeah, if you're going to be on the show next week, I definitely encourage you to do that same one or a similar one because I really felt it big time.
Cool, man. All right. Well, let's wrap it up here for now, and we'll schedule it in for next week and do it live and really get the full impact out of it. That'll be nice to have it in the moment there. So, Joyce, is there anything else that you just wanted to add before we officially wrap this up?
Just again, expressing my love to both of you, reminding us all to drop into the eternal gift of the present moment. I love to say happy new now or happy now in the morning. We're now during the time. So right now, embrace your destiny, your core purpose, embrace your joy, embrace your beauty, embrace your love. There's 3 things we can control in life: what goes into our mouth, what comes out of our mouth, and our attitude about our experience. So I leave you with that. All my love to you, brothers. Thank you.
Cool. All right, Joyce, thank you so much as well. So let's wrap it up officially there. So, of course, everybody listening, ParadigmShiftCentral.com is the main website. Connect through there and Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio and Paradigm Shift Central. And, of course, check out the past archive of all the episodes there if you enjoyed this one and share with your friends. And, looking forward to next week's episode. That'll be a really interesting one. A lot more to talk about, that's for sure. So until then, happy 2014, everyone. Into the future we go, shifting paradigms along the way, changing the world one smile at a time. So, all right, guys, let's officially wrap this up. Joyous, Phil, thank you so much for helping me co-create this, and join me in saying farewell to the internets once again. So, goodbye, internets. Goodbye.
Farewell. We love you.
Farewell, internets. We love you. That's right. All right, take care. Thanks, guys. One love. Thank you for listening to another episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. If you would like to connect with people where you are and continue the conversations further, then check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons to order your supply of shift buttons to share with people to help invite them to this global project while also helping make new friends and building local community where you are. Shift buttons are tools to hack the matrix and tap into the synchronistic nature of reality to accelerate our collective awakening. Enter the promo code PSR into your order to receive additional bonus buttons to your supply. Thank you again, and one love.